Welcome to Parenting GPS, navigating your parenting journey. I'm Kari, Kling, the host and creator of your show. Well, for those of you who have been following me on social media, I told you that there was going to be a mystery guest for this week's show. And here the person is. Drum roll, please. It's me. I am the mystery guest. And I wanted to do this show for you because it is the last new show that I'm doing of 2023. And it's on a topic that is so very important to me. And I have so much information about it that I wanted to share. If you're watching this during the month that I'm recording it, it's November. And we normally think about November as a time to talk about gratitude and being generous. But I believe it's something that's important that we should talk about all year long, and we should model and teach our kids all year long. And today I'm going to share my 5-step solution for you to do that and incorporate it into everything you do every single day, so it doesn't have to be a separate thing. You know, when I was a little girl, my mother always had a way of asking my sister and I a certain question. And as I look back now, most of the time it's when we were being a little whiny or we were complaining. And the question was, did you ever hear about the boy who complained about the shoes he was wearing until he saw a boy with no feet? At the time, I remember thinking, what is my mother talking about? And why is she talking about this imaginary person? But now, as an adult and being a mom of almost 22-year-old twin boys and having worked with families for 40 years, I know exactly what she was trying to do. She was trying to instill gratitude into us in a way that we would think about it all of the time without nagging and saying, I already got you this, or you have this, don't complain about that. And it's something that has stuck with me my entire life. Gratitude, generosity, we talk about these terms. Sometimes we interchange them, but what do they really mean? Gratitude is that internal feeling inside where you know that you value and you're so appreciative of what you have. And I'm going to share with you again in the second segment about exactly how to do that with my 5-step program. Generosity is the outward expression of how to do that by giving and caring. Even it doesn't have to be a monetary gift. It can be a smile. It can be helping someone who needs help. It can be reaching out to a person in need with a sick family member or something like that. And so during today's show, I want to ask you some questions. Whether you're a parent, a grandparent, an educator, a caregiver, do you feel that sometimes the children in your life take things for granted? Do you feel that we live in such a world filled with instant gratification that kids no longer know how to work for things and save for things and to have patience? They want it right away, right away, right away. You know, we live in a world where you can order something and have it at your doorstep later that afternoon or the following day. And it really has changed the way a lot of young children and even teenagers look at the world and what they want and how to get it. Do you have kids like that in your life? Well, today we're going to talk about all of that, but I want to talk about why it's so important to have an attitude of gratitude. And one of the things that we know from neuroscience is that when we have a mindset of gratitude, it actually changes the chemical makeup of what's happening in our bodies. Our bodies release more serotonin, more dopamine, more oxytocin, those brain chemicals, those neurochemicals, if you will, that we think of as the chemicals of happiness. We feel better. Our mood is enhanced. We feel more motivated. Those are a direct result of feeling gratitude about what you have. People that don't have that, if they can't learn to appreciate what they have, even if it's very little, usually may have a very difficult time of appreciating what they will have at a later time if they can't appreciate what they have right now. And it's so important. And it's so important that we begin with children at a very young age. Now, if your children are already older and you haven't done it, don't worry about it. It's never, ever too late. And I'd like to read a quote to you right now by Dr. Robert Emmons. He's a professor of psychology at the University of California, Davis, and he's the world's leading scientific expert on gratitude. And he states, when life is going well, gratitude allows us to celebrate and magnify the goodness. But what about when life is going badly? Dr. Emmons reminds us that during the difficult times, gratitude may not come easily or naturally, but that it is in the face of feeling broken. That is gratitude that can give us the power to heal. I think that's so beautiful. I also want to share with you how gratitude can help us in our lives and support us in our lives. And I'm going to read a list to you from an article that I wrote actually last year in Brains Magazine about this very topic. Having a mindset of gratitude adds to increased happiness, greater self-confidence, having a more positive outlook on life, on the development of what we think of as our emotional intelligences. It helps increase our resiliency when we come into situations that are difficult. It gives us a growth mindset. It helps with the relationships in our lives. It actually contributes to a strong immune system. And there are some studies that say it increases our financial stability. You might be thinking, how does gratitude increase our financial stability? Well, it's because if we feel satisfied and fulfilled, we don't have to go out running to the store or getting online and buying more things to help us feel better. And so that's just a brief introduction. So many parents do such a great job at teaching their kids to be respectful, say please, say thank you. But this is so much deeper than superficially just saying something to someone else. And when we come back from our break, I'm going to give you my 5-step plan to shout it out about how to model and teach gratitude to our children. We'll be right back. Now that we've talked about why it's so important to have an attitude of gratitude, and before I share my 5-step plan with you to shout it out, I want to tell you that there are thousands of families that use this. There are classrooms of various grade levels and ages that use this. There are homeschoolers that use this. I even know of a school in South Africa where the entire school uses this because it makes teaching gratitude and modeling gratitude part of your everyday life. It doesn't have to be a separate thing that you do. And as we think about the S for shout it out, the S stands for self. First, having children recognize the gratitude that they have for their own bodies, their own selves. So for example, my body can take in food and use it for fuel. My body can get rid of the waste it doesn't need. My arms and my legs can move. My body can move to do the things that I want to do. My heart is beating to keep me alive. You get the idea. And so even if your child or someone in your family has something about their bodies that doesn't work correctly the way it's supposed to, it's still a wonderful way to focus on what is working the way it's supposed to in a way that can help your child be the best they can be. And you can model that for them about anything, about, I just went out for a walk. Isn't it wonderful that my arms and my legs can move? Or even if you can't walk, if you have a wheelchair, isn't it wonderful that I can go outside and go for a walk with my wheelchair, with you, with my dog, whatever. So it's always looking for what can we be thankful for first with our bodies, for self. The H in shout stands for our heart. What is our heart connected to in terms of our feelings? And I like to think of it as our family and our home. Now, you may be thinking, but you know what? We don't have a family that is lacking. We don't have a family that's perfect and everybody does what they're supposed to do. Maybe there's a divorce. Maybe there's an illness. Maybe the home you're living in isn't the ideal place that you want to live. That's okay. Once again, it's about focusing on what you do have. Maybe there's one person in your family that is a support to you, that is helpful to you. Maybe you're not living in the dream home that you want to be, but I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat. And maybe if you don't even have all of those things, it's about how can I get to that next step and show gratitude for it, even when times are hard. So the S is for self, the H is for our heart. And I think about, again, our family and our home. The O in shout stands for our community. What is in our community that I can feel gratitude for? Maybe it's your school. Maybe it's the grocery store, the people who work in a certain store. Maybe it's the park down the street. Maybe it's the neighbor and their dog that you love to go visit and pet. Whatever is in your neighborhood or your community. And maybe your community is not physically where you live. Maybe it's a group of people that live across town or somewhere else, but it's about that extended group of people or resources that are there for you to help make your life better and easier. The U in shout is for a unique response. And what I mean by that is, how do you tell the people that you care about that you're grateful? Yes, you could just tell them, but how can we make it even more unique? You could have a family journal and everybody could write something in the journal. It could be once a week, it could be once a month, it could be every day, whatever you decide to do. And then at a given time, maybe a family dinner, maybe a family meeting, you can talk about the things that you're grateful for, have a conversation about it. I mentioned about a family meeting. I did a show earlier in the year about family meetings, and that's a great topic of conversation about what are we grateful for individually? What do we have gratitude for as a family? What has happened? Maybe what didn't happen the way we had hoped it would, but what are we still grateful for anyway? Unique responses could be verbal, it could be written, it could be something that you text, you write a letter, you could do a little FaceTime call, just letting people know that you feel gratitude about something in your life. The T in shout stands for time. And time can be looked at in multiple ways when we think about teaching and modeling gratitude to our children. First, it's the time that we take to say thank you, to write a thank you note, to write a special birthday card for a friend, or to do anything special for that other person, or even for yourself. It's about time to save for what you want or to work toward what you want. I said at the beginning about we live in a world of instant gratification, and I encourage all of the parents that I work with to try to decrease that instant gratification and work on increasing patience with your children. Well, what does that look like? Here are a couple of examples. The first example that I want to share with you is if you have something, if your children have something that they want, don't just go buy it for them. Even if they're very little, you can save for it. Kids can do extra chores to get money to do what it is they want to buy. I'm going to give you a personal example. When my twin boys were about 5 years old, 6 years old, something like that, they came home one day and they told me that they figured out that they were the only kids that didn't have a trampoline. I said, really? Yes, they told me we need to have a trampoline because everybody else has a trampoline. Well, that wasn't true in the first place, but in their minds, it was true. And I said, well, that's something we can definitely work for. So that Sunday when the newspaper came, we took the circular that had from the local toy store, and it had a picture of a trampoline, and we cut it out and taped it on a jar. And I said, well, we're going to do extra things. And when we save money by using coupons or however we did it, we'll put the money in the jar and we'll save toward getting a trampoline. It was a small trampoline. Well, it took about 6 months. And that's a long time when you're about 5 or 6 years old, but they've never forgotten it. And that's just one example of many decreasing instant gratification. Even if it's like, oh, well, Christmas is coming or your birthday's coming, or, we'll do that for your birthday. It's important to have the kids yearn for what it is they want, to work toward it, to say, what else can I do to earn money or to get closer to my goal, whether it's practicing a sport, whatever it is. Nothing worth doing, it just comes instantaneously. Another idea that I'd like to share with you about decreasing instant gratification is when you order something online. Let's say it's something that your children are going to use, so they're very aware of it. If it's something just for you and you need it, don't worry about it. But if it's something that your children are going to be benefiting from, make it the longest time you possibly can for delivery. Don't do Prime. Don't do it right away. Increase their waiting time. If you go to a movie, if you go anywhere where there's a line, don't always go at the time when you think it's going to be the shortest amount of time. And some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, my child would go crazy if they had to wait in a line for 25 minutes or something like that. But that's what we have to do, is to teach our children how to be patient by giving them the opportunities, not just by telling them. And so if we think there's a long line, then we bring a book or we bring something to color or whatever it is. But we have to provide opportunities to decrease the instant gratification that most of our kids are feeling these days and experiencing in their lives. So that is a recap of SHOUT. Self. H is for heart, our family and our homes. The O is for our community. The U is for our unique responses. Another thing that some people do is a gratitude jar. I talked about a gratitude journal, a gratitude jar, so that every time you feel grateful for something, you can put it on a piece of paper. I'm showing a picture of it here. And you can make it anything you want, have the kids help you make it. And then at different times you can talk about it and look at the things that you're grateful for. If we don't take the time, my friends, to be grateful and to teach it and to model it and to talk about it, your children may not understand it at the level that you would hope them to. And then once again, the T is for time. How do we take the time to do special things for people in our lives, to say please, to say thank you, to make those little cards, to decrease instant gratification, to increase patience? All of those things are how we model and teach gratitude for our children. The generosity part of it, the other part of it, is how we give. Do we give, our old clothes and our old toys to people who can use them? Is there a favorite charity that your family likes to support, and to talk about that and make that an active part of your family? What else could you do? What else? Think of it with your family. Brainstorm with each other. How can we share our gratitude? How can we increase our gratitude? And then use our generosity to express to other people how we feel. I hope that's been helpful for you, and I hope that you incorporate it into your family, and I hope you add to the ideas that I shared. And we have some questions from our viewers that we're going to ask regarding increasing gratitude, and we're going to talk about those questions after the break. We'll be right back. It's time for the part of the show where we hear from you, our viewers. And by the way, someone asked me, well, where do you get these questions? If you would like to be on my mailing list, just send me a note at Kari@karikling.com and let me know you'd like to be added. And I also ask for questions on my social media at karikling.parenting on Facebook and Instagram. So now it's time for your parenting destination. And I have 2 questions today from our viewers, and I'm going to respond to them now. The first one is from Rosie from Ogden, Utah. And Rosie writes, I work 2 jobs and I don't feel like I have a lot of time to point out gratitude with my kids ages 5 and 9. What is an easy and quick strategy that I can increase opportunities to talk about gratitude when I don't have as much time with them as I would like? Well, Rosie, that's such a wonderful question. And, you know, so many people are working so much and don't have the kind of time with their kids that they would like to have. So this is a perfect time to bring it up. You can ask the kids to watch for an opportunity where someone is showing gratitude, or where perhaps they have shown gratitude that day, and ask them to remember it. And then at night, if you're home at night, when you tuck them in, make it part of your bedtime routine. You can talk about something that I saw today that showed gratitude to someone else, or that how I felt gratitude, or I expressed my gratitude in a way of generosity. And you could make it part of your bedtime routine. It's a quick and easy way, and hopefully sets the tone for a good night's sleep. I hope that helps. Our second question is from Maury from Yonkers, New York. And Maury writes, what are some ways that I can increase teaching gratitude with my children when we're out and about running errands and having family outings? It's such a great question, Maury. Thank you for asking it. One of the things that you can do with your children is go on a gratitude hunt and explain to them what that means ahead of time. So you could be at the grocery store, you could be at the park, and have them watch to observe someone else showing gratitude, or something that they see someone else do, or something that they feel gratitude about while they're at the park, while they're at the grocery store, while you're in the car going from one place to another. The more conversations we have about this, and the more we bring it to the forefront, the more I believe children will respond and observe and recognize the importance of gratitude and how it makes all of our lives better. So I hope that helps. Just a gratitude hunt. You could also do that if you're going to, for example, watching a movie at home or going to a movie. You can look for characters in the movie that are showing gratitude, or even a TV show. So really, once you start thinking about it this way, anything that you do with your children, you can turn into an opportunity for your kids to shout it out. And if you would like to have a copy of this Shout It Out strategy, my 5-step plan, please go to my website at karikling.com. And in the menu bar at the top, you will see a place where you can click to get a copy of this for yourself. Now, if by chance you do it at a later time and it's not there, just send me an email and let me know that you would like a copy, and I will have my assistant send it to you right away. And so, like every show, I'd like to end with a quote, but first I want to share my gratitude. This is the 36th episode that I have done in 2023. I have so much gratitude for the opportunity that I have to hopefully make the world a better place by having this platform of a television show, a global television show. And I'd like to share my gratitude with Rick Amato of Your America TV for believing in me that I could do this and offering it to me. I'd like to share my gratitude with Sutton Porter, who is my producer, who I could not do this without. She's the one that takes the raw footage of what I record and makes the edits and puts in the graphics and does such a beautiful job and gives me feedback to help me when I ask her about how I can do the very best I can be. I'd like to share my gratitude to my assistant, Cassie, who I couldn't do this without. She does all the tech stuff. It's kind of like a car. I don't know how the engine works, but I know how to make it go. She does all the behind the scenes things with me on my reels and on uploading things to my website and changing my website and everything that goes with that part of it. And to my family for supporting me and encouraging me, and my friends and just everybody. It is my goal that this show becomes the #1 resource when people have an issue in parenting that they want more information about, that they're saying, I need to know more about this situation with behavior with my kids, or family relationships, or learning issues, that the first thing that they think about is, I wonder if Kari has a show on that. And they come right to my website to see if there is one. And I've had world experts on already so far. I want to say a big shout out to every single person who has been a guest on my show. Thank you. Thank you for giving of yourself, of your time, of your expertise to share with the viewers of Parenting GPS in efforts to provide support, resources, and strategies. I've loved getting to know each and every one of you, and I've learned so much from all of you. I could go on and on about all of the things that I'm grateful for on this day, but I'm going to end with a quote, as I normally end my shows. And this quote is one of my favorites, and it's a quote from John F. Kennedy, and he said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you in 2024. Thank you.